Well, hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Automotive Insight. Today we have a 2001 Ford F150. This is the two-wheel drive variety, and the customer's concern is that there is kind of a creaking, squeaking type of noise when they're making turns. We, to be fair, haven't been able to exactly duplicate it, but we're pretty sure that it needs ball joints, and we'll show you why. Let's get to it.
Okay, and is the up one moving too?
Go ahead and take our wheels off. They're 21s. So what the overall plan is going to be is we're just going to remove this entire knuckle. So we're going to pull the caliper off of it, take this tie rod end loose, and then we'll work on the actual ball joint nuts, and we'll get those loose and we'll pull this whole thing off. Go ahead and get the zip tie out of the way. It's got our ABS thing on it. Ordinarily it shouldn't have that, but our connector seems to be broken, which that's fine, no big deal. So get our cotter pins going here. So we'll start by getting our caliper off of it. They are 13s. So we got our caliper hanging out of the way now. We'll go ahead and get working on our tie rod and ball joint bolts. The tie rod is a 21. Lower ball joint is a 24. And upper is a 21. Now we'll go ahead and get our ABS sensor out of it. It is an 8mm. Now take your BFH, you're going to whack on the lower ball joint is in with a snap ring. Now you don't have to use this but just for the sake of making it easier to beat with a hammer out, we'll pull our grease zerk out of it.
You think that's an aftermarket ball joint?
Probably. Now, you can use a ball joint press to get this out. I just beat it with a hammer. So we got our ball joint press tool set up here. The main problem that you're going to run into when you get one from like Hobo Freight or OMT or something like that is they're not quite like long enough to make the adapters that are in it work. So this part is in the kit, this is in the kit, this is in the kit, this is in the kit. This is actually from an axle bearing, but it's good enough to make it do what we need it to do. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and press this thing in. So that's in plenty. We'll go ahead and get our new snap ring on. Go ahead and throw our grease zerk back in it. And try to make a conscious effort to orient this in a way that you can actually get to it on the car. So the brakes and stuff are back here, so I'm going to try to angle this thing kind of this direction, so in theory that should be about the easiest way to get to it. So before we get too carried away with our upper control arms here, I'm not sure if he was filming it or not, but what I did was I scribed around those bolts so that we have some frame of reference when we put it back in, because this thing's going to need an alignment afterwards, and this is where all your caster and camber adjustments go to. So anyway, we'll get working on this. These are 21s on the nut and the bolt. Go ahead and go back in with our new ones. The upper grease zerk is just a straight up one. We'll get this off and we will get ready to go back on with our knuckle. Now this thing weighs a couple 100 pounds, so you're better off to get the bottom started. Okay. We get our things tightened. The aftermarket stuff is always a different size. In this case, this was a 24, now it's a 27. The upper was a 21, now it is a 22. Wouldn't be a bad idea to throw tie rods on this. I mean, this one's starting to tear a little bit. Where we live, we don't have state inspections, so I don't care about this. Because if you don't care, then we don't care. And it doesn't have any play in it, so it'll be fine for right now. Go ahead and get our caliper back on. Go ahead and throw grease in it while everything's here and easy to get to. So we've got our control arm sitting on this piece of wood here. So we got pretty much as much weight as it's going to be, pretty much as much weight is as going to be on it. So now we'll go ahead and try to get our marks line back up to get us in the ballpark when we have to do an alignment, so we're not spending hours doing that. Get our ABS sensor hooked back up. So that wraps this side up. We will do the opposite on the opposite side. So let's get into that. Well, that's all we can do on our end. All that's left to do on it now is to run it down the road to the alignment shop, get it lined up, and then this one is done. This job is actually fairly simple to do. All you really need is a ball joint press, and you could probably get it in without it, but they rent those things at AutoZone and stuff. It's not that big a deal. Go get one, stick it in. Now, parts breakdown, we bought this kit. It's by Mevotech or Mevotech. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it was a 5-piece kit that had upper control arms, lower ball joints, and an idler arm that we installed off camera. That ended up being about $200 with taxes and shipping included. And all in all, I think this calls for about 4-ish hours worth of labor. It probably took us 3.5 filming it. It's really not that bad to do. But anyway, guys, hopefully we earned a thumbs up from you. Let us know what you think down in the comments section. We have new content for you every single week, so consider subscribing to the channel. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
I'll pick you up at 8. You probably won't be awake. Call yourself an Uber, babe. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait.
Those things are hard, especially when you cut your fingernails as short as I do.
Well, if I had that biscuit, that's all I thought about.